All right, today we're going to go under the hood of something we see every single day, the company. We're going to peel back the layers to figure out what a firm is really trying to do and explore some of the powerful and often invisible forces that are pulling the strings. So let's just jump right in with a big question. If I ask you what a company's goal is, you'd probably say to make money, right? And look, you're not wrong, but that's not the whole story. The real answer is actually a lot more interesting. To get to that deeper truth, we've got to start right at the surface. From an economist's point of view, what exactly is a firm? At its heart, you can think of a firm as this kind of transformation machine. It pulls in a bunch of resources, people's labor, money, raw materials, and of course the big ideas of an entrepreneur, and it turns them into stuff that you and I actually want to buy. And in a market economy, the fuel for this whole engine is the hunt for profit. Okay, but here's where we peel back that first layer. Because when an economist says the word profit, they mean something totally different than what your accountant means. In this one little difference, it's the hidden engine driving pretty much everything we're about to talk about. This pretty much sums it up, the seen versus the unseen. So on one side, you have accounting profit. It's super straightforward. It's your total revenue minus all the obvious costs you see on a spreadsheet. Rent, salaries, materials, the whole shebang. But economic profit? Well, that includes all those plus the hidden or what we call implicit costs. So what on earth is that hidden cost? It's this idea right here, opportunity cost. And honestly, this is one of the most powerful concepts in all of economics. It's the value of the road not taken. Every single choice you make, every resource you use, has an opportunity cost. It's the value that resource could have created in its next best use. That's the unseen cost that economists are completely obsessed with. To make this less abstract, let's use a super simple example. Let's say you decide to spend an hour kicking back and playing a new video game. It's fun, sure, but it is not free, not by a long shot, even if you already own the game. Your seen cost, your explicit accounting cost, is the stuff that shows up on a bill. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, the electricity for that hour costs you $25. That's the simple, visible part of the whole equation. But here comes the unseen part. Let's say you're also a consultant, and in that exact same hour, you could have been working for a client and earning $100. By choosing to play the game, you gave up that income. That $100, that's your opportunity cost. So here's the kicker, right? Your true economic cost wasn't just $25. It was the $25 for the electricity plus the $100 in income you didn't get. The total economic cost of that 1 hour of gaming was actually $125. And that just shows you the huge gap between what's on the books and what's really going on. And this leads to a really wild idea, something that sounds kind of wrong at first. In economics, a normal profit is zero. Now, a zero economic profit doesn't mean the business is failing. Not at all. It just means it's earning just enough to cover both its obvious costs and its hidden opportunity costs. It means its resources are being used exactly as well as their next best alternative. Anything above zero is a flashing sign that this business is doing something exceptionally well. So this brings us to the person who's actually in the driver's seat, the one chasing these economic profits, the entrepreneur. But as the economist William Baumol pointed out, not all entrepreneurial activity is, created equal. Baumol basically broke it down into 3 types. First, you have productive entrepreneurship. This is what we all think of, creating a new gadget, serving customers better, basically growing the whole economic pie. It's a positive-sum game. Then you have non-productive. This is more of a zero-sum game. It's about shifting existing resources around, maybe through lawsuits or lobbying for special favors. And finally, you have destructive entrepreneurship, which is a negative-sum game. This is when you use the political process to take resources from other people, which actually shrinks the pie for everybody. So let's take these different entrepreneurs and their companies and put them on the racetrack of the market. The rules of this track, really the level of competition, is going to determine who wins and how they get to win. Economists usually think in terms of 3 big models. You've got price takers, like a wheat farmer, who just have to accept whatever the market price is. Then you have price searchers, like your favorite local restaurant, who have a little bit of power to set their prices. For both of them, the key thing is that the barriers to entry are low. Anyone can jump into the market. Because of that, over time, their economic profit gets competed right down to zero. A monopoly, on the other hand, has really high barriers to entry, and that's what allows it to keep making those above normal economic profits year after year. So just think about what that means for a minute. In a competitive market, if one company starts making huge, above normal economic profits, well, that's like sending up a signal flare for everyone to see. Other entrepreneurs see that signal, and of course, they want a piece of the action. So they rush into the market, they increase the supply of whatever is being sold, and all that new competition just relentlessly pushes prices down. Until, you guessed it, the economic profit gets driven right back to that normal long-run level of zero. Competition is this amazing equalizer that makes sure resources are always moving to where we, the consumers, value them the most. Okay, deep breath. We've talked about opportunity cost, different kinds of entrepreneurs, market competition. So what? Why does this fundamental economic framework actually matter in the real world? It matters because it gives us a brand new lens, kind of like X-ray vision, to analyze some of the biggest debates of our time. When we argue about monopolies, is the real problem their high prices, or is it the high barriers to entry that are stopping anyone else from competing? When a new government regulation gets passed, does it actually help create productive innovation, or does it just create loopholes for destructive, rent-seeking behavior? This framework helps us look past the angry headlines and see the unseen consequences. Which leaves us with some pretty big questions, right? If a company becomes a monopoly because it came up with a brilliant innovation that nobody else can match, is that automatically a bad thing? And what is a firm's real responsibility anyway? Is it just to maximize economic profit, which, as we've seen, is a signal that it's using resources really well to serve people, or is there something more to it? This economic way of thinking doesn't give us all the easy answers, but it sure does give us a much clearer way to ask the right questions.